Let's quickly look at the market in general. So quite fortunately tonight, I'm going to start with Bitcoin. Now, you guys know that we've been struggling to go above my channel. That was since last year, from January. Since January this year, we've been playing the game below this, and then we even were going down below the channel as much as possible. All right. So now, but within last week, we had good movement or struggle movement above the channel. So we give us a kind of green light. So pay attention very quickly because I'm sure many of us attend all of this market update and we do not use it for anything. Because everyone, if you're using it for anything, when we're here, and I say we need to rally up back to this point again, and that was when Bitcoin went back to 74K. Remember, our target was Bitcoin to come to $73,000, right, at that region. And of course, 73, 72, 73 and 74 plus, this is 74,400 and $73,000 plus. That's not a wide gap. Now, but there's something very importantly we need to pay attention to. Not all of the altcoin are actually be able to move as Bitcoin has moved to our next step. Now we're at a very serious place, but we're above this channel, which means our target was to be now going up to our 89,000 to 92,000. So 89,000, 90,000, and then to 92,000. So once we're able to break 92,000, then we're going to be going 93, 97, $98,000. So which means we're looking more up now than down. But please take note. So if that's the case, so I'm sure some of us will not be able to do anything here, but those of us who listen and follow very simple instruction, we're talking about the market down here, you will have been fine now. And that's why we say you need to have a larger, wider perspective of the market to enjoy it. So the Bitcoin is going to have that. Then you can look at other coins like Solana or related tokens. Solana, I told us we're going back to $94. No, $95, which we stepped down to $94, which make a lot of sense. I'm sure many persons who attend our market update don't even pay attention to some of those things that we talk about. I talk about $95, and nicely we beat down to $94, which was a very good entry for anyone who was following instruction anyway. And so here we are on Solana. So just like what I've talked about Bitcoin, so here we're on Solana. So my target on Solana overall, before if we can have a very nice move, is to go to $176, right? So the question you ask me, Felix, now, can I buy Solana? Well, we're just buying, not on future trading. Of course, why not? But of course, the best point you will have bought Solana was when I talked about Solana was going to go to $95, and which we went back to 90, whatever, $94 thereabout. And so this another point you will have taken into Solana, which was $105. Now, listen, most time people take we don't pay much attention to the market, and we just listen to the narrative and we don't take action. Now, but Solana is already a very critical point now, which you can see on daily time frame that just like inverse head and shoulder, that Solana need to break above this point neatly, right? That's Solana need to break above 146 to $147. Once we're able to break that, then we can be targeting our 178, 179, or perhaps $181 for Solana. Now, but that's not my target. My target for Solana is probably we should be able to hit up to 198 to 199 or $204 eventually. So, but at least give and take, you're looking at breaking above $147 is for us to be looking at 176, 178, or $181 as well. So now what should I do now? Practically speaking, so to Solana. So some of you, if you missed out of Solana, and other related tokens too, like Chainlink and all the like. So you can see Chainlink now is just trying to bottle out of this point. And so that means you have one milestone back to $15. Can I be buying Chainlink now? Well, I think Chainlink was breaking out of a sub-lithium region, which means was a good buy for Chainlink. So buying Chainlink now is not a bad deal, right? Because it's actually taking a move up above orders and all of that. So Chainlink, good, that fine. That you can still get into Chainlink, right? So Bitcoin, like I've said, now, so quickly look at it on 4 hours. We'll give you a clearer picture. Now, Bitcoin had not been trending for over how many days, since on the 11th or so, had been moving sideways. So what you want to have in Bitcoin? Well, even if you're buying, so for me, it looks like neutral zone, because that's somehow choppy for Bitcoin, which had been sideways since, let's call it, since on the 11th of April, and today is 20. So for how many days now, Bitcoin have been choppy, moving sideways. And so you have this range for Bitcoin to break above, right? For Bitcoin to break. I remember when I told us Bitcoin to break above $86,000 plus, then for us to rally up to all our targets, $89, $89,000 already, $92,000, all right? And perhaps 94 is top over. So 94 is top over, but ultimately up to 98, 96, 90. So these are my levels for Bitcoin, right? 96, 98, $99,000. All right. So yeah, but this is the point. If you're buying Bitcoin right now, you have to be cautioned. Probably if you're buying Bitcoin in this box right now, so you are using your stop loss, because anything that made Bitcoin break below this point, and if it's unable to take its strength up, where we are right now, then break below $82,000, then you have Bitcoin to dump back to $80,000 something, 79,000, and back to $76,000. All right. So, but ultimately, Bitcoin seems to be moving sideways, but in an upper layer of the market. All right. So, man, if you buy into Bitcoin, the studies of you are trading future, then you want to look at Bitcoin. Yeah. But inside this box, it's not safe, but you can risk maybe a little position. If you are trading future, you want to use 0. Sorry, not Forex lot size. You want to use like 5x or 3x, and then maybe you can have a separate account, right? That you're not going to use a stop loss. Or you want to use a stop loss, but a long one, probably anything below this point. And then targeting your take profit, right? Maybe at $85,000, right? So, which is not far. It's only Scalper that could do that. And so that's what they're going to do here. Let me go to this point. So, okay, so the chain link has actually broken out, as I said. So, which means if you are doing that to Bitcoin, you're actually targeting a shorter move, right? So that means for anyone who was following Bitcoin, doing some day trading or intraday trading, that would have been a nice one. From here, actually came down to $84,000. And that will have given, so if you're buying in now, so you're just like, okay, yeah, so this is 1 point something. So then if you're getting in now, looking at, or maybe you can sacrifice the money, okay? So this is about 1% plus. So if you're using like $200 or $300, right? 10x or 5x, or depending, right? And then so, but the moment we're able to break above $86,000 plus, then you want to look at Bitcoin going into that 89,000, right? 89,000, 89,000, 92,000, and 98 or 97, $98,000. So if you want to long Bitcoin, right, you can long Bitcoin with small lot size, or sorry, leverage. And then the same thing I've talked about, Solana. Yeah, so if you look at Solana, let's look at it. So Bitcoin is in a range. And so breaking out of this point, I'm just going to give you this. So if you actually take into Bitcoin right now, you want to use a stop loss at those points I've mentioned earlier. All right, so looking at Solana, like I said, so Solana had actually done well. Look at it. Like I see breaking up to this point. So if you want to buy Solana right now, maybe you want to long Solana, especially those of you probably use both or whatever. So remember, and then that means you're going to use a very small lot size or leverage. So that means you're going to look at Solana, whatever it is right now, probably setting Solana. That's going to be a very bogus stop loss for you. Yeah. So which means you're going to be using so if you use 5x, You use 5x, that is 5 times 525. All right. So, and if all things being equal, if Bitcoin is going to have its way, maybe tomorrow may not have much volume. All right. So, but you remember I was telling us that the best place you will have entered Solana was not here because I talked about when Solana. So getting to about $176, right? Solana, that's about 27%. That's not a bad deal if it's going to pay out for you. So you have to get ready. For instance, let's say you take $100 into a position and then targeting about, this is 5. So let's call it 6%, right? So 6%, and you use 5x. So 6 times 5 is 30%. So you're going to be losing $30 of your $100. And then if you play out 27%, so 27 times 5, right? So let's look at it. 27 multiplied by 5. Yeah, so that's about 135%. So you're going to have $135 added to your phone. But that's not a guarantee, okay? But of course, that's my target. But where will have been the best for you to have entered Solana when I talk about $95? So you can imagine for anyone who was following our updates and taking actions as expected, let's pretend you never took it serious at $95, but you got in at $105, $104. And so let's take from there, for instance, to this point where we are right now. Come on, 33%. Come on, that's amazing. Yeah, so 33%. So even when you use 5x, yeah, so that's one of the things I encourage everyone you're coming into the market, don't use a bogus lot size or leverage. So because you're a businessman, so having long Solanas from that point now, that's about how many days? About 11 to 12 days right now. That's about 33%. So 33% multiplied by 5, that's about 150% plus. Yeah, that's good money. So for instance, because that was the bottom of the market. So assuming you are trading with $200, right? $200, 150 something percent of that, that's about additional $300. I'm just using an example, right? To say now, the trading is not hit or run, jump around, and all of that. You have to be very strategic. So we're waiting right now to see how Solana actually break out of this. But as long as Bitcoin is able to have a forceful move, then you have Solana first break. Remember, I talked about Solana to first of all break out $147. But will you be waiting for that point? No. You want to get in right now, right? Because you missed the appropriate entry when I was talking about Solana. So at $95. So you want to get it right now here. And then for Solana need to break. All right. So $141, $147. Then if that happens, then you want to be navigating all through, all right, at least $160 or $152. But then finally, now targeting this point with about $179, $180. And if all things being equal, go to $198 for Solana. So yeah, so that's one of the things I want to tell us, when it has to do with the market, as it were, Bitcoin doing what it's doing. And so you can see Chainlink have been struggling though. And then, but of course, it has actually done well too since that time. For some of us who are using both, this is how I actually use my own boat, right? I look at the market when the final crash or major crash and the correction. And then, so imagine when market is coming down here, I stop the boat and reset it again, except those ones that I use like DCA Pro. And so those ones. So all my short on my DCA Pro have finished closing. Now what's remaining right now are all of them are long position, but they are in a drawdown, right? So that's one of the things when it has to do with my setting of trade as to what. So that for Bitcoin and crypto generally, and of course, other cryptos still leveraging on and all of that. Now, remember what I said. If Bitcoin is going to take over, right? If Bitcoin is going to break out of those regions I've just mentioned, then that's going to be phenomenal. Remember, don't say I tell you this, don't put the trigger on my head. I told you, I said, once we're able to flap all of this and flip back here, which I doubt, but if one's able to flip back 109K, remember what I told us? That we can move to as high as $176,000. So that means you have another last leg of the bull run. But a lot of people will miss out of it because many persons are already running away from crypto. And oh, Bitcoin is nonsense. It has taken my money, it has wasted my money, but that's not true. Were you actually doing the right thing? The answer is no. And so those are the things when we tell people that crypto is not like hit and run. It's not a Ponzi scheme. Crypto is not GBEX. So those are the things we tell us that we have to be coming down and then paying attention to basic knowledge. Quite unfortunately, we don't want to invest in ourselves. And that's one of the another biggest problem we have when it has to do with crypto, right? Okay, so now looking at the market, the forex market, lovely enough. If any of you have been following us in our market update, we told you when the DXY was going to be snapping down. Apart from like the fundamental that happened, structurally speaking, in technical algorithm, it was already at the top. All right, it was already at the top to be flapping down. And I always say Euro USD is opposite of DXY. That's very simple. So sometimes I look at some of us complicating our trading activities. You do not need that. Just look at it. DXY is a dollar strength. Anything against dollar. So when the strength of dollar is weakening, then just long everything dollar. Very simple. Then when the dollar strength is regaining momentum, just short anything against dollar. Very simple. Example, we saw the momentum crazily dumping coupled with strategic policy by the present United States of America president, to weaken dollar and then to attract investors who want to get into the US economy and all of that. So now having this right now, you can now see that this is just the direct opposite. Remember, I told us about the divergence. We have the bullish divergence of Euro USD over the time that was in January. And so you can see from January up to now, Euro USD have been what? Creating a very massive momentum after a major breakout of this point, and that has been. Now, to tell you invariably, when it has to do with trading, I'm not saying you should not day trade or intraday or scalping, but you have to look at the larger, wider perspective before you look at and jumping around the scalping and all the like. Okay, so we still continue the deep move for DXY, which you're looking at, flip down to this point. Anything make us break below this 97, man, that's gonna be mess, right? So that means you're looking at very, very crazy down, $89, 88, $89. But the more deep it is, the bigger the Euro USD continue to create the momentum. But so that's what it is. The GBP USD, those of us who are trading forex, that. And remember, I always tell us that don't trade too many instruments at a time. So you have to face one side. And let's look at it. I told you, as far as the USD DSY is weakening, short everything. So long everything against dollar. And then look at the GBP or USD JPY. So that's a massive sell. So you can imagine since January, it has been a short move for you. Okay, this is how we invest in Forex, because every trading instrument, they are a financial vehicle. Okay, so that's to achieve financial freedom. All right, so investment vehicle, look at gold, amazing instrument that have been very wonderful. And remember, I said my target for it within this period or before the month roundup is to go to $3,600. Since we have achieved the $3,300, no, we first achieved the 3,000 region and we achieved the $3,300, then the next one to achieve is $3,600. That's crazy, right? So what's going to go have on gold? So I want to have a pullback later and the continuation of gold this week, except otherwise, if we have an open and a slap up, then that means I want to have a correction, return back to $3,237 region. Outside that, momentum continue as much as possible, right? So that's one of the things that everyone needs to understand when it has to do with this business, okay? We have to develop ourselves to know strategic way of taking advantage of this market. I've told us every trading instrument, they are investment vehicle to achieve financial freedom, right? So I told you if you want to buy some of those instruments like Bitcoin, the long Bitcoin. But remember, I told you long in Bitcoin now, it's a lot risky, right? It's an advantage. Okay, if you're smart enough, right? If you're smart enough, I'm sure. Well, we met Bitcoin was about 4 or 5 something, 517. Now it's 646. So once we're able to break above this point, then we continue rallied up. We break below this point, then we sell down. So some of you are highly conservative. You want to see either Bitcoin's going to crash down to this point, break and retest this. You short everything on Bitcoin, either on your Forex, on your crypto futures, that's a CoinW account. And then some of you are conservative. You want to see break above this, retest this region, and then that's $86,000 region. You want to be long in Bitcoin onto up to 89,000 to $92,000. For risk takers, we have long Bitcoin from wherever, right? And so if you look at it, so you can see that long in Bitcoin from this point had been profit as it were. So the day trader, intraday trader will have been taking small chunks of Bitcoin, all of this why, here and there. And now, right now, have been into Bitcoin long, and that's one of the things, and that's what it is, okay? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's what we have for you tonight. And it's okay. I think Bitcoin is responding to our call, right? So if you're long already, congratulations. And so, but that's not a yardstick, and that's not a guarantee that it's going to continue the momentum. I actually told you again to long Solana, and then Solana too is pushing up gradually, right? But I told you use small lot size or leverage because of you are the middle of nowhere. So sometimes these are what we call gambling, but people are trading like that. So because Solana just bounce here, you expect probably to return back here and all of that. So, but breaking above 141, 147 is going to be very parabolic. But the best time to have gotten to Bitcoin or Solana was when I talked about $95 region. But nevertheless, never, anytime you wake up is actually your good morning. Okay, that's one of the things we must know and understand, that when it has to do with this opportunity, you are absolutely responsible for the outcome of your decision. All right. So yeah, so is it good to long here? I've told you long with small, and then that's the power of this year. When you break out of this thing and retest, you are triple season. All right. So but long here, you put your stop loss below here, and when it drop down here and stop you out, collect part of your money, you see a retest here, you want to short the thing and collect your money. I'm not saying revenging a trade anyway. And that's one of the things we need to understand. Now, for some of you who I made an announcement about, let's look at it. I made an announcement about the promo that's going on Traded Mastery, because it's just a need for me to always announce everything, because sometimes people will tell me, hey, I didn't hear, I never knew what's going on, and that was why I didn't take advantage of it. So mine is to fulfill righteousness and let people take advantage of opportunity available in our space, okay? So quickly, let me just share with you what's the Traded Mastery prop firm, and I said the promo that was going on. It will be interesting to know that the promo on the spring promo is over, so you cannot take it. I saw some people. So if you know you are in our ecosystem or you join us on Facebook and you register, because I saw some people activated account, so you need to chat with me. So inbox me your profile, your details, so that you can be added on the Forest Signal. All right, because you need to have access to backup information. So you chat up with me, and then I will add you up, because I saw some of you have activated your account. All right. Then if you look at, you're going for $200,000. Ordinarily, what you should be paid is 1,114, 413 if you click on this add-on. So the promo that went off was that you will have purchased this at $585. You heard me right, with all this add-on. Now, so ordinarily, if you do want to add all this add-on, then what you should be spending is $975. Now, the promo that had gone was to give you 40% of this. All right, so 40% of it was what arrived at $585. And right, so adding up these were free. But right now, the only promo that is going on, if it's still available, let me just quickly check. It's called Easter 50. So Easter 50, you are not going to have free add-on unless you want to buy, which is still okay anyway. So if I click apply, I just hope it's still available. If it's not okay, it's still available. So that means, congratulations. This is, come on. Am I? Come on, this is amazing. Wow, this is amazing. They have given the add-on free. Okay, I never knew. Come on, this reset is crazy. So the add-on now is free. So that means, so what does this add-on? So instead of 80% profit share, that is when you make profit, when you are past your challenge account, when you are making a withdrawal, you are withdrawing 90% of whatever thing you make, and the company retain 10%. But on a good day, without those add-on is 80%, which is still powerful, but that's just a leverage. Now, why this add-on? Trade on weekends. That means ordinarily, if you are not having this add-on, you can't hold a trade over the weekend. Once it's weekend, you have to close all the trade open. But in this case now, you can hold a trade over the weekend. Now, you can trade news, maybe like FMOC, all of those news that high impact news and all of that. Of course, beginner, I don't encourage you to trade news, but there are some persons, there are some news that are, you see the money on the table, and so you want to take advantage of it. Man, this is amazing. Wow, this is amazing. So you can see the add-on is free. So if it's 200,000, so that means, wow. So the people who never did self are now more luckier than, because you pay $585, right? Man, but right now you have to pay 487 point something dollars. Now, if it's 100,000 account, wow, wow, this is crazy. I never imagined this. So you are paying $250 and you have access to $100,000 account with all the add-on put together there. Now $50,000 account, so you're paying $162.5 and all the add-on given to you. Wow, amazing. Then 25,000 account, you're paying $112.5 and with all the add-on given to you. Wow. 10K account, then you're paying 49.5 and all of these add-on given to you. Primary price supposed to be $99. With the add-on, it's going to be more than that. So, but wow, amazing. So I don't know when this is going to close, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. So, but congratulations if you are following. There's a link in our group. If you just, some of you do not know how to trade, but you want to take advantage of it, you can just buy and then wait for over time, because it's not expired. You bought, it's your own. So when you sharpen your tools, then you can take advantage of it. After all, we have a signal group and we've said whoever participated in buying any of those accounts will be added on our Forex trading group. Then for those who buy like $200,000 account, yeah, you're going to be giving the free training on our Planb trade mastery course, right? Basic mastery course, just because purely strategy. And then for now, what's the advantage of it? And I give us again another opportunity on Arcas X, that if you are out there, you don't know anything about Forex trading, about anything, and you want to start, the best place I will ask you to start with is from Arcas X. Why? Because it has all of the academy in training, everything you need. You can see all the academy training are here, where you start from beginner, you go to advanced, go to expert. So you have educators training series. You can have all of them. There are better, strong tools available for you here. And then you have tap to trade. You have trade alerts, crypto alerts. So you can see crypto alert. If I click on it now, so it's going to put trade alerts for crypto. Let's go here. Perhaps, okay, maybe I've been signed out, so that's why you cannot see it. Just a moment. So it's quite amazing, and that's why I always encourage people, let's shun Ponzi scheme and work on what works. And those of you who obey simple instruction, I'm not saying those of you who do not obey, it's a choice. It's a decision. Nobody can coerce you. And because my philosophy and what I've come to realize is that people do what they want to do, people hear what they want to hear, and people see what they want to see, right? They do what they want to do, they hear what they want to hear, and they see what they want to see. So because I remember telling most people that when the market was up, Bitcoin price was up, and I told us that we're going to have a massive crash, that let everyone who have some good portfolio, irrespective of your portfolio, at least that take part of your money and go and buy into what was it called? I told us to go and buy into call it for me. I told us to go and buy into a platform called Paynet ecosystem, right? So I told us to go and buy into Paynet ecosystem. And why? That is FMC Pay. Why? And I said, well, this is a platform I've been on for over, so by May this year, I'm going to be 3 years on that platform. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm going to be 3 years on that platform. Okay. So, and I said, take part of the money instead of leaving it, all right, as the market was going to be crashing. And I'm sure for anyone who listened and did as I said that time now, by now, what you should be doing is that you will have made some money, some USDT. So scooping them out and even buy some of those coins I was mentioning, or buying to like when Solana came down to $94, that will have given you an egg to buy some Solana at $94 or 95, let's say $100. And if Solana go to 180, that's 80%, guys, not future trading, just to buy the spot. And don't look and see all of those signals sent, expired, some hits, they take profit and all of that. Now, look at trade alert on Forex. So you can see different signals. Okay, look at gold, say still active, buy at this, then you can see the academy, right? So the academy, like I did mention, where you can learn everything and all of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's no excuse for failure. If you listen to the voice note I sent, so if anyone is in Plan B and say still complaining of things not working, you have to just ask yourself questions and blame yourself, right? Some of us who are trading are synthetics. I'm trading on deriv a lot, and so you can make money, but just set your goal, and that's one of the things. Sharpen your instrument. But I always say, no matter what you trade, no matter how fervent or strong you are in trading, and you do not have investment portfolios building, that's buy and hold, buy low, sell high, and all of that, or staking and farming. Can I tell you something? You will be struggling all the time, because definitely there are times you are going to waste and make mistake in trade. It's normal. It's part of the game. And you will blow your account, right? And then you do not have a backup. It's going to be very, very pathetic. That's the truth. I'm just speaking out of experience. And that's why we said, when you build your capacity in your trading and make money, you have to learn financial intelligence in picking out some of those money from your broker and then buying into some of those coins, so that over the time when you have issues, or at least home fund can be settled. I came in this evening and I saw this market from here, shorting from here to here with the lot size that was required. So from here to here right now, which I'm targeting it to hit here, except and otherwise, this is about 6,853 points. So if that happened, and 0.005, so 0.005, so 0.01, so 6,800. So let's say 6,800. 6,800 multiplied by 0.01. That's a point, right? Yeah, so that's about $68. So for anyone who trade this and then take 2, 3 positions, depending on their account size, will have been in money. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming tonight. And also some of you who are asked long Solana, Bitcoin, and all of that. So let's check if you have long them, just the simple instruction. Let's see how much you will have been right now. Let's see where Solana is. Okay, Solana is about, we saw it at 186, 136. So we ask you to long. Solana is down 137.7. All right. So if you are just coming in, you can still go ahead, ask us to buy Solana, to long Solana, Bitcoin. But of course, where Bitcoin is, longing it is still more risky. But of course, you can take small position because we have more bias of it moving up. But we want it, guy, to move out of this box. So if moving out of this range, breaking out of this range, but there's nothing bad in taking a position, and then when it break out of this point, you add to your position than just waiting, right? But conservative trader will be waiting, and we said if Bitcoin cross below this $82,000, then we pick Bitcoin pieces at about 79,000 and eventually 76,000. But the buyers, okay, now we're back to 85,000, and I've told you that the best time you will have entered, look at Bitcoin, and then look at Solana now, $138. So those of you who started with us, I'm sure you're already running on profit if you follow us on the beginning, from the beginning of this update. Oh, wow. See, Bitcoin's reacting massively. When we came, Bitcoin was down somewhere here. Right. Yes. This candle was not there. Okay. This long candle was not there when we came in. And I told you, I said the best time to have entered was here. But nevertheless, you can take small position and then watch what happened as it were. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. And then if you have not taken opportunity serious on our forum, I'm sure you have to be personal. That's my own counsel to anybody. Take your business personal. Don't think of whatever anyone say. Whatever your mind tell you to do, just do it. My belief is that people do what they want to do. People see what they want to see, and people hear what they want to hear. No matter what to say, no matter how you put energy, forget about it. Your neighbor may decide not to hear what you're saying. And my philosophy and my conclusions, my style these days in the business, share the opportunity and move on. Whoever see it, congratulations. Whoever is not seeing it, now, energy to motivate unmotivated people, I don't think I have it again. Thank you very much, everyone. Do have a nice time and happy Easter, everyone. Bye for now. Thank you.